Boom! What's going on, everybody? Brian Romano here with Underground Performance Institute, and wanted to, I know some people are, oh, were we live? Are we live? Okay, I think we're live. But anyways, I know that some people learn better from reading, some people learn better from listening, and so, I know how important, and it's that time of year, right? It's the beginning of a new year where everyone all of a sudden decides to either, hey, maybe I'm going to set a goal, or, maybe I'm going to actually sit down and review my goals from last year and see what I accomplished, see what I didn't accomplish. And it's like the one time you actually sit down and decide, like, maybe I should track and measure and see what happened in my life, what didn't happen in my life. A lot of the goals that you set out last year, you probably even forgot about if you don't revisit those things every single day. And so I recently wrote an entire blog on goal setting, and over the last 5 or 10 years, through my readings, through different types of research, through my own mentors that I've hired, and developed this 3-step framework that's done wonders for me, both in my personal life and in my business, on how to achieve what it is that we want, right? Because, as many studies show that less than 3% of people actually set goals, right? And then less than 1% or about 1% actually write them down. And, that's kind of head scratching a little bit to me. But, as we think about it, is most people don't set goals primarily out of fear, right? Fear of, if I actually, write something down, does that hold me accountable to it? And we don't like to be liars, right? And we definitely don't want to lie to ourselves. So if I write it down, it's like, now I have to really hold myself accountable and set out and accomplish this. There's other fears, a fear of being judged, right? Fear of, what will, different, the people closest to me, family, friends, if you're a young athlete, or teachers, if you're a student, what will they think of me? Will they laugh at me? Will they talk about, set more realistic goals? And that's something we hear a lot of in the goal setting world, right? Like the whole idea of like SMART goals and, be realistic. And, while there might be underlying truth to that, is I tend to think completely on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Like I want to set out, I want to put things out there that are just absolutely mind-blowing, that people actually do think that, I'm crazy, I'm different, I'm weird, right? Like that's the mentality that I have, because I want to be in the non-ordinary, right? I don't want to be the ordinary person. I don't want to have the common goals that everybody else seemed to have. But so, let's just briefly go through this 3-step framework. I'll attach the blog in the comments section, down below. And that way, if you have more questions or, you want to dive a little bit deeper, it extends out the explanations through that. But first, step 1, really asking what it is that you want, right? Most people don't even tend to take the time to sit down and think about and ask yourself, the world, the universe, whoever it is, whatever your beliefs are, what it is that you actually want, right? We just kind of get in the rat race of life and just kind of say, oh, this is the way it is. This is, the amount of talent that I have. This is who I am as a student. This is my career. This is my profession. Whatever it is, it's like, we don't think bigger. We don't think outside the box. We live in this box and we get confined in this box. And so we stop asking for what it is that we want. So step 1, sit down and really genuinely think about what it is that you want, right? Not what your parents want, not what your boss wants, not what your coaches want, not what your teachers want, and not just the ordinary answers, right? What is it that you genuinely, in your heart, that absolutely freaking ignites your soul on fire? Like, what is it that you want, right? Okay, so that's step 1. Find it is, in your heart, what it is that you want. And kind of the step 1B to that would be is actually write it down, right? Not typing it in your notes on your phone, not typing it on your laptop or your tablet, right? Physically, use a pen and paper and write it down. Okay, there's the real power and actually taking it from your brain to paper, really taking it from your conscious brain to your subconscious brain. And, to go to the next level would be seriously rewriting it every single day. Okay, so step one, ask. Number two is behaviors and actions. What are your beliefs, right? Step one are your thoughts and your feelings, right? You're asking what it is that you want. Step two is your behaviors and your actions behind those thoughts and feelings. Now, I want to make one thing clear is a lot of people associate behavior with actions as work, like real hard work. Don't get confused that all of a sudden this means you have to hustle, grind, work extremely, extremely hard, to get what it is that you want. That would be a belief, right? But what I mean by behaviors and actions are, do your behaviors align with what it is that you want? And so the easiest example to use is always money, right? Like people can just visualize that, even a child can understand the concept of money. So if you say, hey, I want to make more money, or I want more money to show up in my experience, but all of a sudden you're walking around the store, or you start looking at everything and you find yourself saying those things are too expensive, or I can't afford that, right? Those are your behaviors. Those are your actions, right? So if your thoughts and your feelings, if you're asking for more money, but your behaviors and your actions don't align with that, right? Now we're blocking off, we're disallowing what it is that we want, right? So you have to, it can be just pretend spending. It can be pretend accomplishing, right? So, align those behaviors with what you're asking for, right? Don't say one thing and act in a different way, okay? So that's step two. And again, in the blog, or if you have questions, please type in your questions, because this is if you understand these concepts, this is the magic of living. This is literally the art and the science right here, okay? So step one, asking. Step two, behaviors and actions. What are your beliefs behind it? And step three is actually receiving it. And so the way that, I talk about this is emotionalizing with your goals, right? We remember things better through emotions. And my example is always, if you ask most adults where they were on 9/11, they can tell you exactly where they were, right? I was in 8th grade in Miss Martin's math class, and, I remember what a kid said. It was kind of an inappropriate comment. When the plane hit the Twin Towers, right? So I literally can tell you why. That was a huge moment in most people's lives. If you ask people where they were on 10/11, most people probably don't know. Why? There wasn't a lot of emotion behind it, unless some big event happened, right? Whether maybe it's a birthday party, an engagement, or something along those lines. Unless something like that happened, you don't remember it. So my thing is what if you can create those emotions? What if you can create those memories on purpose, right? And so when we start to think about what it is that we want, we ask and we start to behave like that. Now, if we can start to feel like those things already happened, right, that creates those emotions. And, an easy kind of cue, especially that I give, young athletes is, does it send chills down your spine? Do you get chill bumps just thinking about whatever that goal is? Does it keep you up at night, and not in a stressful way, but something that excites you, that brings joy and energy, that wakes you up in the morning, ready to hit the ground running, right? Those are the type of emotions that you want to feel. And now you're hardwiring your brain to understand and know it's those things have already happened, so it has no choice but to show up in your life. And so when you can combine all these three, when you can ask and genuinely sit down and think about what it is that you want, write it down, then you start to behave and act like, hey, I've already got this. And then you create those feelings that, man, it's already shown up in my life. That money's already shown up in my life. That state championship has already shown up in my life. That college offer's already shown up in my life. That relationship, that dream career, that car, whatever it is, it has no choice but to show up. So I could go on forever about this. I just wanted to pop in and kind of give you, a little more in depth, a little more the verbal side of, what I was writing about the other day. Please, if you're watching this, punch in Team Live. If you're watching the replay, hit #replay in the comments section, and let me know your thoughts and questions. Right, do you believe what I'm having to say? You know, is there something that you do in addition, or do you have other questions about this? Because there's so much power, and it took me really years to genuinely understand. You know, we all hear about goal setting, right? And some of us, you know, spend a little bit of time, or we just write down, you know, quick vague things. You know, I've got a stack right here of some of the kids that have been through the gym. And, you know, it's teaching them, you know, to be very specific and think more outside the box, not the, you know, just, I want to make all A's, I want to win a state title. It's like, what's, as my mentor always says, you know, what's underneath that, right? Like, how do we get more granular? How do we go levels down below to think deeper about what it is that we really want? So if you haven't done it yet, I encourage you, 15 minutes by yourself, somewhere quiet, sit down and, you know, really get inside your heart, really get inside your own mind and figure out what it is that you want, and see, like, does it excite you? Or are you just writing things down that are just like, that would be fun? Nah, like, what would juice you? What would get you excited? If you got questions, pop them in the comment section. I will attach a link to the blog so you guys can check that out and read it. See if that helps you answer any of the questions you have or better understand it. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend and can't wait to chat with you guys soon.